Welcome back to our new property. This marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter in our lives. Life isn't guaranteed to anyone, but I'm determined to do my best for my family, you, and my friends. No matter what comes my way, Robert Arrington, the man behind the popular YouTube channel Dear Meat for Dinner, will always give it his all. Robert has amassed a large following thanks to his family-friendly content, but many of his fans have been wondering what happened to him. Who, before facing a major health scare and legal issues, appeared energized. Let me give you a quick tour of camp so you can see what we're up to. Robert has been through a lot, both on and off the show, but nothing has compared to the life-threatening stroke he had in. In April 2025, while Robert and Sarah were conducting a home inspection, Sarah noticed something was amiss. Robert began to stutter, go silent, and look visibly confused. Sarah didn't waste any time in rushing him to the nearest fire station, convinced he was having a stroke. From there, they went straight to a trauma hospital, where doctors confirmed Sarah's worst fears, that Robert had suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. Despite retaining his motor skills, he experienced difficulties with his speech, finding it difficult to compose complete phrases and even uttering simple words like watch, which he pronounced as chomp. He is able to comprehend spoken language, but he struggles with articulating his thoughts. The weekend began on a negative note for them, as they had to cope with a fright involving their daughter Arya. Now Robert, Sarah said, looked unhappy in the hospital, and it broke her heart to see him in that state. Sarah hoped physicians would explain what happened to Arya. Robert had a history of strokes. In 2023, for example, he had 2 concomitant strokes that almost took his life. Reportedly, he was out hunting alligators on the show as usual when he suddenly lost control, leading to a fierce struggle. His companions said he then started to feel strange, threw his fishing rod to the ground, began to stumble, and his speech became muddled as he realized something was seriously wrong. As his condition deteriorated on the way to the emergency room, he begged to be taken to the hospital. Upon arrival, the medical staff wasted no time in rushing him to the CT scan room, skipping the usual check-in process. The results showed a small blood spot in his brain, confirming that he had suffered a stroke. Further tests revealed that he had actually experienced 2 types of strokes: a hemorrhagic stroke, caused by bleeding in the front of his brain, and a hypoxic stroke, caused by a lack of oxygen in the brain. His wife remained by his side during his recovery, updating fans on social media and thanking everyone for their prayers. She expressed gratitude that the stroke happened close to home, rather than while they were traveling or in a remote area. After that, doctors took action by giving him medication to prevent seizures and admitting him to the intensive care unit for constant monitoring. Over the next several weeks, he began his recovery sessions, which included relearned movements such as walking, talking, and using his hands. Without the stroke episodes, the result could have been substantially worse. In November 2016, Rob was involved in a devastating accident. The scenario unfolded as he was driving his truck when he lost control and flipped it over. The impact was so strong that Rob suffered serious injuries, including a broken neck and a fractured spine. He was quickly taken to the hospital for emergency care, where his condition remained critical and his prognosis was uncertain. Robert remained in a coma for a while after the crash. After he came out of his coma, he had a long and difficult path to rehabilitation. Months of physical treatment and daily practice were part of his recuperation, which he undertook with the help of his wife, children, and fans. Even though it was tough at first, Robert kept his mind on the task at hand and worked tirelessly to overcome his injuries, demonstrating the same doggedness that had brought him success with his YouTube channel. In the end, Robert was able to get back to doing the things he loved. Used his experience to speak out about the dangers of texting while driving. He often reminds his followers to stay alert and drive safely. However, just when we thought Robert had pulled through, another tragedy struck. In 2021, Robert went on a trip to Pagan Island in the northern Marana Islands with former Governor Ralph Torres. During the visit, 4 spar deer were released into the wild. The video of the release was posted on Robert's channel. While the act itself may have seemed harmless, it almost got him into legal trouble because animal release was illegal in the northern Marana Islands. The Mariana Islands. The law makes it illegal to intentionally release captive animals into the wild, including deer kept in captivity or on farms, and imposes a $1,000 fine per deer for violators. Also, while it may sound harsh, no one may renew or get a new permit if they have a history of holding a captive rearing permit and intentionally releasing animals into the wild. In the video that Robert shared, he mentions that the rule is in place to save local plants and animals, particularly on islands like Pagan that are home to unique species. The video became a focal point in a legal case against Torres in May 2023. Prosecutors added 37 additional charges to an earlier case, including misuse of office and permitting illegal actions like the deer release. The ex-governor was defending himself in court while explaining that the idea originated from Torres. He claimed the governor had called him while he was still in the U.S. to ask his opinion about releasing the deer on Pagan Island after their old shelter was damaged by a typhoon. Robert was never officially accused of anything, but his name kept popping up in the inquiry due to the widespread internet sharing of the video. Now that we know about the terrible things that have happened to Robert, let's go back to where it all started. His childhood in Florida. Robert Arrington's love of the outdoors began at a young age. He spent many childhood days hunting, fishing, and free diving. As he got older, his enthusiasm for the outdoors became his way of life. One fateful day, as he was preparing deer meat in the kitchen, he had the brilliant idea of sharing their outdoor lifestyle on the internet. With the help of his wife, he checked the availability of the domain name deermeatforeigner.com and bought it for $9. After that, they started uploading videos of their hunting, fishing, and cooking adventures. Their channel quickly became popular due to his straightforward approach, which has established him as a trusted voice in outdoor content from a personal perspective. Robert and Sarah are still married and have a home of their own. In May 2025, he is still recovering from a stroke he had in April. He has shown signs of improvement, including small movements, and the family homeschools their two daughters, Arya and Emma. The channel's popularity is largely due to the real-life adventures captured on film. Using crutches and speaking in brief phrases, recuperation has been a sluggish process. His wife keeps people in the loop by posting updates on social media about the challenges they encounter.